Lords and ladies of the internet, it's Danny Stewart here for BasicPlanDirect.com, and I've got I'm just going to do a basically an update video, work in progress. So this is work log essentially, and it's good news. So this is the BB that I made a video of probably about a week ago, with the extreme, or rather pretty bad moisture and dryness damage that it had gone through over the years, over the decades. Yeah, and I had to glue the fretwork back on after trying to flatten and even out the neck. Luckily the truss was still working, and luckily the warpage, although there is warpage, it was not that serious, so it's been addressed with a little bit of heat treatment and quite a lot of fret dressing just to make it play well again. So now it does play pretty well. And yeah, that B string sounds pretty good to me. Had to do quite a lot of fret dressing in the higher frets up here because of it developed a hump because of the basically because of the moisture damage, I guess. But that's been addressed and it plays quite nicely now. Now it's at 1.8 millimeters at the 12th fret. And yeah, it's really, really comfortable. Yeah, and this is rear pickup, by the way. So I'm quite pleased with the way it's playing. It does need a few little bits of fine detail tuning here and there. There's a couple of frets which need minuscule little adjustments, you know. And then once that's done, I can do the final fret crowning and then polishing, so that they all look nice and shiny and that you barely know that they've been dressed. You know, sometimes you can look at a fret, you could look at fretwork, you see, well, yeah, that's been dressed, you know, obviously. And sometimes you see fretwork which has been, it's been dressed, but then it's been really, really well finished off. So that's what I'm going to try and do with this one. Is just finish it off really well, so that it's not obvious at all. And I think also in the process that's going to allow us probably to go down maybe a little bit lower still. So, but that, you know, it's much better than I thought it would be. So I'm very pleased with that. Yeah. Yeah, there's a couple of small things to do up here, and maybe I can take the frets down a little bit further, and that will allow us a little bit of a lower action at the 12th fret still. But yeah, it's really getting there. It's good news. And the I've done the painting of the back of the neck. I mean, it's not perfect, of course, but it's pretty tidy. It needs to have a top coat on there, just to make it really smooth and glassy and also easy to clean. The colour match is not too bad. It's a little tiny bit darker than this. There's just nothing that I could find that was the exact match. So this is the closest that I could get, but it's pretty good. As you can barely see it on this camera, but the neck is just a marginally darker shade than the body, and I faded it purposely so it looks, maybe it could pass as tanning, you know, just with age. So that's, yeah, it's come out a lot better than I thought it would. Again, perseverance is the key. You know, I was kind of, I thought I might have to give up on this at one point, but I'm glad I didn't. Yeah, so it's getting there. So that's really all I wanted to say. It's essentially good news. This is going to be, it's going to be ready pretty soon. I'm going to be getting the top coat for the neck. I'm probably going to be getting that in tomorrow. And what I'm planning to do is I've got a couple of bodies that I want to paint, and then I want to use, because the top coat is going to be too much for just this neck, so I don't want to waste it, because it has to be used all in one. It has to be used in one go. Otherwise, you can't, you know, you can't use it because of the chemical reaction that goes on in the lacquer. It goes off really quick. Goes off within 24 hours. So what I've got to do is get a couple of bodies ready to paint at the same time. Get them ready and painted, ready for a top coat. Got to do that at the same time as I lacquer this, and I'll lacquer them all together so that I make that that particular can of lacquer go as far as it can. It's good stuff. It's a little expensive, so I don't want to waste it. So that's it. Yeah, this is probably going to be ready around the weekend, I would imagine. I think the rest of the fretwork is going to be quite time consuming and demanding, but that can be done pre-lacquer, actually, because I'm not going to be lacquering the top of the fretboard. That's just going to be oiled, but I am going to be doing the sides and the back. So yeah, I'll have to mask off the front so that doesn't get all glossed up. But that's it. Yeah. So it's good news all in all. And by the way, guys, if you're interested in sourcing similar, do have a look at my Base Hunter service and sign up for it if you want. And to the customer who I got this in for, do let me know if you're happy to take it or not. Because if you're not, I'm sure other people will want to take it. You know, I've put a lot of work into this. It's pretty challenging, but it's getting there. And yeah, one thing I wanted to say is, like, yeah, it's, you know, I'm gonna be completely straight about the stuff that I get in. You know, it had some slight warpage, but now it plays. It had a ski ramp, it still does, but because of the fret dressing, now it plays. It's you know, I get sick of sometimes you get people in the industry who really take advantage of customers who don't know anything about setup or maintenance and whatnot, or lutery. If it plays, it plays, and that's the end of the story. You know, if it's got a slight twist in the neck, who cares? As long as it's stable and it's not twisting anymore. If it's fret dressed to play, and it plays, then there's no problem. You don't really need to necessarily do anything further about it. You know, with this one, I actually did twist the neck back a little bit and heat treated it, and it made it marginally better, but I don't want to overdo it, because if you overdo that, then you start getting problems elsewhere on the neck, you see. And it was playing, it was almost playing before. The only problem that I had was on the G string, so I just fixed that by fret dressing. You know, but that's all I wanted to say in addition, because, you know, it's like sometimes when you take your guitar in for repairs, it's like going to the garage. It's like taking your car into the garage, and, you know, you have no idea what needs to be done. You don't know how to do it, and you'll get you can easily get ripped off. You can get somebody saying, "Oh, you need all your frets changed," you know, and that's going to cost you $400 or $600 or whatever, and it's nonsense. It could have been done with just fret dressing, which would cost what, like, I don't know, $80, maybe $100 at the most. Like, yeah, kind of makes me sick sometimes. And you know what, that happens. But, you know, one other thing that's important is that when I do get an instrument that has problems like this, it plays, the truss still works, it plays quite nicely now. But I cannot guarantee it. You know, I cannot guarantee it in another country. So there's just no knowing how it's going to behave. So that is something that you have to consider. But usually, 9 times out of 10, even more than that probably, it's probably about 95% of the time, the stuff that I've repaired has remained stable and has been fine across, you know, across the oceans, thousands of miles away from Japan. So I'm hoping that it'll be the same with this, but that's you know, for the customer, that's something to consider. You know, you have to take into account that the climate where you are might affect this differently. Even being on board a plane where it gets very cold might affect it. It's just, there's just no knowing how it's going to react. So that's why I can't guarantee it. But you know, either way, whether anyone takes this or not, even if they don't, I still have a very nice Yamaha SB5000 in my collection, which plays very well in Japan. So I'm not that bothered either way, and it's also been a very, very interesting and fun challenge to get this playing again. So you know, there's a lot that I could be happy about, even if nobody wants to buy it. So there you go, guys. Anyway, I'll stop rambling now, and I'll say see ya. Take care.